Hello, happy May. It is currently May 1st. It is also the beginning of week 18 of 2022. We are 4 months into 2022. I cannot believe it. Wow. So, excuse my hair. It's Sunday, so Sundays are my do chores day, and I have been doing quite a bit today. And yesterday as well. Our normal chores, laundry. I did my bed sheet, so nice clean sheets. I've dekitted a couple of diamond paintings I worked on that I have finished, so I dekitted those and got those put away. And every weekend I try to do a little bit, I have different things I need to organize and kind of deal with craft wise, so I try to do at least one a weekend so I don't overwhelm myself. And sometimes I'm like, let's keep going, I'm in the mood, but I just did that today because there's been a lot going on. I already prepped my lunches for the week. I'm doing buffalo chicken wraps this week, so I made buffalo chicken, and then I also made some blueberry cheesecake muffins for breakfast that are a quick grab and go, so then I can grab that and a yogurt or that and a banana or whatever. So lots and lots of busy. But I figured I would do an update. So, I'm debating on where I should start. So let's do the quest calendar first, since it's sitting here in front of me. And then we'll talk about a couple other things. So, since we are at the beginning of a new week, I am playing the Quest Calendar 2022 Gates of Terralon. This is created by Sundial Games, and it's based off of tabletop RPG games, and it is a daily calendar, although weekends are combined, Saturdays and Sundays. So last week we left off exploring the Lost Library. So let us see where we pick up today. Oh, I should also mention we are playing as Savani Moonchaser, who is a monk, cat person, because I love kitties. So, ooh. This is a monster book. Look at those teeth. Those teeth are creepy. Okay. You look over the scrolls and books you have gathered. One of the books is peculiar and has a fuzzy cover. You open it and feel a sharp sting. It was not a paper cut. This book has defenses against those that wish to read it. The wound causes your thoughts to swirl in confusion. Wow, okay. So it looks like there will be 3 rounds here, and we'll need to roll an attack roll, an intellect roll, and our damage roll. All right, and then all of our information that we need is on the back of the previous day. So let me get my dice out. Okay. All right, so our attack is a +6. And nat 20. Woohoo, that doesn't mean anything for this game, but all right, so our attack roll is 12 or more, so we hit the book. Okay. All right, and then we need to roll an intellect roll, and our intellect is a -1, and that is a 17, so 16. Okay, if your intellect is 12 or less, you are confused, which means you re-roll your damage and take the smaller result. But we were not confused, so we just roll damage like normally, and our damage is 2d6 +1. So that is a 7 + 1, so 8 damage. Okay, so if your damage roll is 6 or more, the book is stunned this round. Cool, so the book doesn't attack us. On to round 2. Okay, that is a 15, so 21 for attack. And we needed a 12 again, so that works. And then our intellect roll is a 14, so that's a 13. Intellect roll is 12 or less. Okay, we just barely made it that time. So then we will roll damage. Oop. Dropping dice. One of my D6s is a 2. What is the other one? That is a 4. So 6 plus 1, so 7. Okay. Damage roll is 7 or more. The book is stunned. Okay, just barely. All right, final round. Attack roll is a 12. So that is an 18. We needed a 12. Perfect. So then roll our intellect. And that is a 16, so 15. And we needed a 12 again. Perfect. And then final damage is 9 plus 1, so 10 damage. If you hit and your damage roll is 4 or more, the book dies. Nice. Okay, so we stunned the book 2 rounds, so we collect 2 gold. And then because we also killed the book, we collect another 1 gold. So a total of 3 gold. And we have dealt with this monstrous book. So that's fun. Oop, I'm throwing my dice again. Goodness, I'm just having problems keeping these on my desk. Okay, so there is the quest calendar. That is perfect. But it is also May 1st. So let me get this. Oop. Throwing things around. I swear. Can't take me anywhere some days. Because it is May 1st, I joined I've mentioned this before around this time frame in my previous vlogs. I am a part of a readers group on Goodreads called the Romance Readers Reading Challenges group. And it's has so many different kinds, different lengths of reading challenges. Some of them, a lot of them are romance specific, but some of them are not. And I am currently participating in 2 of their challenges. One of them is the Taylor Swift quarterly reading challenge, and that runs from March 15th through June 14th. And I'm doing that. And that one is just read as many as you can. They have different prompts and all of that. I have, if you check my link tree, I have all of my TBRs and just announcement posts listed on my blog. But the other challenge I'm doing is the Yahtzee challenge. So you roll 5 D6s like normal for Yahtzee. And then depending on which part you're doing, you read a book for that, for whatever role you're choosing for that month. So we have done the small straight and the large straight. It is 1 a month. It started in March, so the last event will be next March. So it's fun. I get to play a really slow round of Yahtzee and roll dice, and it's only 1 book a month. And I usually, so far, I've been able to just have whatever prompt I have work with whatever I'm already planning on reading. So let us do our rolls and we will see what ends up happening. So I picked out the beginning. I picked out 5 dice. I did all pip dice because I have some that are numerical numbers. There we go. Pretty colors. And let us see what this month brings. Ooh. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 5, 6. So I'm going to get those marked down. 1, 3, 5, 5, 6. So I'm going to keep the 2 5s. Now for the numerical numbers, you need to have at least 3 to count for it. So hopefully we can get another 5. Look at that. I rolled a 5 and a 3 and a 3. So we could do a full house. Have we... Full house is a 2, or is the number 2 or 3 in either page count or publication date, which is super easy if I read anything published in the last 20 years, because everything will start with 2. So we'll do the full house. That works. So I'm just gonna mark this. This will be for May 2022, and we are going to do the full house. And I'm just gonna write on here so that when I update it in my reading group, I will have that. Cool. So Yahtzee is done. Now, the other thing that I had to talk about is I started a book last night. So we will do a little mini book update. So yesterday when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to pick up next, there is a lot going on and I kind of wanted to free read, but I also needed to check how things, like where book clubs are sitting where. So we have the Mafia Romance Readathon that starts on Thursday, and that'll run Thursday through Sunday. So that so later this week you will see I will just briefly talk about books that I'm reading for the Mafia Romance Readathon, but because I'll have a separate reading vlog just about the books, but I'll at least update things in here so you at least know what I read this week. And then so I will do this week's vlog instead of stopping on Friday. I'm going to end it on Sunday so we can include all of that information. And then next Monday starts the Historical Romance Readathon, and that one runs Monday through the following Sunday. And that one, I haven't decided if I'm going to just do it all together or separate the books from the vlog and then just have the vlog be a lot shorter because I'll just briefly mention books here and there. But I haven't totally figured out what I'm doing there yet, but it also might depend on how much I read and how long clips are, because if it's just the quest calendar kind of thrown in, I might just keep it all together. And we have also that Sunday that the Historical Romance Readathon ends is the first meeting of May for the SJM read-along, and that was organized by Jen at the Book Refuge, but this time it is on, I think, Tori's channel, Whose Novel Life. I'll link them both down below. So we have Heir of Fire, which is book 3 in Throne of Glass, and The Assassin in the Desert, which is the third novella, like prequel novella, so it's 0.3. So I have to read those before the Mafia Romance Readathon starts on Thursday. And then for book clubs, usually a lot of my book club stuff is at the end of the month, but this year it just all kind of like is crammed at the beginning of May. So then on Thursday, May 19th is Rake Appreciation Society, which is Jen and Crystal. And we are reading The Mark Hess Makes His Move by Diana Quincy. And so that one will be, I will read that one during the Historical Romance Readathon, because that'll end the weekend before book club meets. But then that Friday, so day after Rake Appreciation, is the first 2 books in Hidden Legacy. And this is by Alona Andrews, and it is a continuation of the Alona Andrews read-along, although it started out as the Kate Daniels read-along, and then we read the first book in the spin-off, Aurelia Rider, and then they took a month off, and it's hosted by Heather from Hia Booktubes, Megan from Meowth Vader, and Steph from Novelty Corner. However, for Hidden Legacy, they're adding Izzy from Happy for Now. So because that is that following Friday, here is my goal: to read Heir of Fire, The Assassin in the Desert, and Burn for Me by Alona Andrews. And Burn for Me is a reread for me. And so it should go a little bit quicker. And then that way, after the Historical Romance Readathon ends, I can read White Hot, which is the second book of Hidden Legacy. I have that week to read that. So I am like locked in for the next couple weeks on what I'm going to be reading, and hopefully I'm not going to get super slumpy or want to completely mood read in a completely different direction. But I think it'll help that I'll have these like fantasy books, and then to go into mafia, and then historical romance, and then back into fantasy, and then I'll probably read some contemporaries after that. And then I have a little bit of time till my next book club, which will be the last Monday in May, May 30th. So, and then since we're talking about it, the SJM read along. So I have the Smart Woman Read Romance Patreon, and all of this I'll touch on briefly in my April wrap up, because then I'll do my little mini May TBR at the end of this. But this is what I've been working on this weekend, so I could figure out what I was picking up next instead of just putting myself in a position, because these are all ones that I really, really, really want to read, and I want to put the effort in to make sure that I read, because these are things that I enjoy. But anyway, the next book, the second meeting of May for the SJM read along, is going to be A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the first book in that series of the same name. And this is the first time I'm reading any Sarah J Maas books. I do have the first 3 and then the novella of the ACOTAR books, because I knew that they were very, very popular, and I like the original covers. And then when I saw that they were redoing the covers, I got the paperback versions before the covers went away. So that's cool. But I also pulled, you can see over here at the top of my bookshelf. So this is what I want to read, but this also has the 2 Sarah J Maas books I have, Burn for Me, and then the 2 paperback books I have for the Mafia Romance Readathon. And then this is my stack for Historical Romance Readathon. So I'm hoping to read a lot more of my paperback books this week, or in the next couple weeks, to get things taken care of. But so anyway, all of that to get to say, I started Heir of Fire last night, and I didn't want to immediately jump into Heir of Fire, but with the way that all of the different meetings and readathons kind of set up, I was like, I gotta jump into Heir of Fire. And I saw it is like 450 pages, I think 460. It is crazy long. So I was like, crap, I need to start it now. So I didn't start it till kind of late last night, because I started it like 20 minutes before the live show last night for book 2 and the second novella. So I was like, I didn't get very far by the time that was all over. But I am 15% in. I'm about to start chapter 12, and I am enjoying this. I'm enjoying it so far. It was a little bit of a funky kind of start, and I can see why people are kind of frustrated with her, but I feel like, you know, knowing she's young, it doesn't, like, I try to keep that in mind, but I also feel like because I'm someone who has dealt with grief for people passing close to me, like my mom and my grandmother and things like that, I give a little bit more leeway to her, because I know that everybody goes through grief differently and processes it differently. And so yeah, she's kind of not doing anything, and I know we want her to kind of pick herself up by her bootstraps. But I saw this once mentioned in a book, that grief comes in waves, and it is certainly true. My mom passed in 2015 in October, and let me tell you, there are still days, even though it is almost 7 years later, that I just find it hard to get through a day or a weekend or a week, or sometimes more than a week, where I just am constantly thinking about her and constantly ready at the drop of a pin to just start bawling. And then other days, you know, and then after that, it's just fine. It comes in waves, and it affects everybody differently, and you just have to kind of, from what I've discovered for me, I just have to let myself, if I need to just cry and sit in my grief, I allow myself to sit in my grief, but I try to also not disregard things of like taking a shower, eating properly, and things like that. And so like allow myself to wallow a little bit just to kind of get through those feelings. And that usually helps me move on if I can just be like, okay, I'm gonna take this weekend, I'm just gonna wallow and I'm gonna play stupid games on my phone and just have the TV on and not really focus or do anything. And it's like, I won't do laundry this weekend, I won't force myself to do things. I'll just make sure I have a plan for lunches for the week, and I don't know. But anyway, so I do also grant her some leeway because she is struggling with grief. Never mind the fact that not only did she lose Nehemia, who was like her first girlfriend, and it seems from what I understand, it is a very similar situation to how she lost Sam before. But outside of that, what I didn't really hear anybody else mention is not only did Nehemia die, she was the person, and granted they were all rushing to get to Nehemia because there was that threat against her, but she was the first one to walk in and see Nehemia, and she saw her completely, she was destroyed. Nehemia was absolutely destroyed. And this might be a little much, but I was the one who found my mother, and she just passed away in her sleep after. So so I could just touch on that, because even though she wasn't the only one in that room, but she was the first one in that room, and to kind of get that shock, and I'm sure it was even worse with how brutally murdered Nehemia was, I grant leeway to Selena. Although I'm going to call her Selena because we know for sure that she is Aelin now, but she hasn't really started using the name Aelin. But anyway, so she has been picked up by Rowan, who apparently is a Fae Prince, and he is going to start training her. She's going to work as a scullery maid in the kitchens in the morning, and then he's going to train her, and she's going to prove herself as a half-breed Fae so that she can enter like the Fae realm, and her Aunt Maeve will then answer her questions about word keys and word gates and all that stuff. So it's just, I feel like it's just kind of going to get started, but I'm interested to see her train with Rowan because he's Fae. And so the skill set will be completely different, and granted she has a good base with her assassin skills, but he's Fae, so you know, he's better from her just because he is full-blooded Fae. His reaction times and things like that, and his use of magic and stuff is going to be at a higher tier than her, even if she is at the highest she can be. So I'm excited. And I'm hopefully now that I got most of my like ongoing chores done, I can just kind of read tonight and then just worry about my laundry. So I'm going to end there, and I will be back to update you with any fun things that happen with Heir of Fire. And until then, I'll see you all soon.
To believe, hold me, lead me, catch me. Want you to dream, I want you to dream. I want you to dream. Hey, want you. touch me. Want you to dream. I want you to dream. I want you to dream.
Hello again. It is just after 10 o'clock and I was going to get ready to put on my PJs and get in bed. I've been listening to the rain the last little bit, and then I decided to put on some ambiance music, and I decided to have it over here on my, I don't know if you can tell, but it's Rivendell music and ambiance, which is from Lord of the Rings, and it's been just like perfect for like the mystical fae elf. It's just really good, and is really kind of hitting the spot with the book. But before I get too far into that, the B-roll, whatever you call it, that you just saw was of me doing the new moon spread, and I'll pop it up here. And so I did the new moon in Taurus by Emerald Lotus Divinations, but it was also a solar eclipse, so it kind of doubled up. So let me just read you what she had written for what this spread kind of signifies. The new moon in Taurus on April 30th also brings us a partial solar eclipse. This is the first eclipse of 2022, and it essentially makes this new moon extremely potent. This new moon is the second to occur in April, which makes this new moon rare. This eclipse is also happening near Uranus, which is the planet of sudden change, innovation, and revolution. This is the time to expect the unexpected and set yourself up to fully embrace what is divinely yours. Although things may feel chaotic during this time, be mindful that the universe may be removing what is no longer serving you, and this can feel uncomfortable. Think Tower cards, but will make sense eventually. Trust what comes your way. Let go of what no longer feels good. Listen to your physical body during this time and lean into self-care. Wow. A lot of those actually, like I read this when I picked this spread a couple of days ago when she posted it, but I didn't reread the blurb. I just had the spread downloaded and I got that in my book. Wow. Yeah, my spread pretty much touched on that. Wow, I'm being a little bit mind blown right now. So I tried a different way of pulling my cards this time because I felt I've done a couple of spreads that I didn't really film that didn't quite hit right and were all over the place. So I tried changing it up a little bit, and I always do everything in 4s because 4 is my lucky number. But so I did more normal, split it into 4 pieces, shuffle each half together 4 times, then shuffle the 2 halves together 4 times, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3, and the 4th card I'll place down, and I'll put them in a random number or just in a random position for the spread. And then usually I just do whatever. If it's a 5-card spread, the next 5 cards. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But this time I tried doing every 4th card was the card I put down. So 1, 2, 3, place a card. 1, 2, 3, place a card. And this spread has been one of my more cohesive spreads that I've done. That it really played well off of each other, and I've had good spreads before, but the way that this one went was just, it felt good. So I'm probably going to do pull my cards like that in the future. And I'm glad that my number is 4, because I know that there are some people that are in tarot groups I am that like their number is 7 or their number is 12 and things like that. But because I was feeling kind of in a tarot-y mood, I did a deck interview. A few weeks ago, I did an unboxing and kind of quick run through of the Mystical Cats Tarot. I'll link it down below. It's done by Llewellyn, and it's Rider Waite Smith. So like this is the Fire Queen, which is the Queen of Wands pretty much, but it's all like here's the 10 of Pentacles or Earth. It's all like kitty cards, and I love it, and it's just, so I wanted to do a deck interview spread. Like here's the lovers, 2 little kitties. I just love it. It's just so good. And this is one of my newer decks, and I don't know why I waited so long to get it, because it is just everything I could want in a Rider Waite Smith clone. But I have this like Harry Potter notebook that I got from somewhere, I don't know. And it's labeled Fantastic Beasts, so it came out, but it's all like black pages, and I decided to have a separate notebook for my deck interview spreads. So I bought white gel pens, because it's been forever since I've had gel pens, and then I had fun pulling out some of my witchy and tarot stickers. And then I did the first page. So this is the spread that I'm using, and it's just a simple 5-card spread. So card to describe your relationship, what you want to teach me, when should I use you, what is something I can do to improve our relationship, and something important you want to tell me. And then I found some metallic ink stamps. Ooh, it spread over a little bit, and so then I'm able to stamp, and then I used fun stickers because I was doing a cat one, and then I filled out my questions, and then I have some like thought stickers, and then this was like my overall takeaway from the interview. And so this is the first deck interview that I've done in this way. I've done a couple deck interview spreads that I just kind of kept notes on and I have in the back of my mind, but I really like doing, like, writing it down, and I had fun decorating it with all my stickers. And I mean, look at this sticker. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? And it's like glittery. But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed it. And this deck, like, the deck interview is exactly what I was kind of feeling like I might turn it into. And I've been using, like the spread I did earlier was with Smoke, Thorn, and Ash. But I didn't want to use this deck at all until I did the interview. And let me tell you, this, first of all, lots of pentacles, lots of earth cards. 3 of the 5 cards I pulled were earth cards, which was super crazy. But basically, this deck is gonna be my workhorse deck, and the vibes that I was getting from it is that it'll be a good daily, reliable deck for me to use and to better learn on. And I thought that was perfect because this is from Llewellyn, and it has a lot of the same symbologies as the original Rider Waite Smith system. And so I thought this would be this is going to be my new workhorse deck, it sounds like. And I don't know. And then one of the other cards that I pulled for was the Sun, which is one of my favorite cards in this deck because it has like a statue of Bastet, and then it's like on a deck, and there's like a bunch of cats laying all over just sunbathing. And the Sun is all about positivity and optimism and just happy times, and I just was like, that's perfect. I love this deck. It makes me happy. and just knowing that this deck wants to be my workhorse deck, and this deck is loving that I love it so much. So I just need to keep in mind to keep my positivity and my optimism when dealing with this deck, which I tend to be a more positive and optimistic reader. And I am so excited. So I'm going to, instead of using my app, and I'm not very good at it, but I'm going to, the box this came in is like super big, so I want to make a bag to put it, to keep it with me. And I think what I want to do is start doing daily draws with it, and then maybe my normal full moon spreads. But I want to redo interviews with everybody, and then interviews with decks I haven't done yet, and get them in this book. And I'm probably going to I'm going to shoot to try to do one a week, but I might try to do more than that because I have quite a few decks. But so I also did that, and I just love it. I mean, look at the kitties. It's just so cute. I got 4 wands. They're all playing with a little mirror ball. Oh my God. I just love this deck. It's just so great. And here's the first card. This is, instead of the Fool, it's called the Cat. And it's just like, it's so perfect. I love this deck. But you know, if you know me, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm very clearly a cat person. This is my cat lady. Zip up hoodie. But so yeah, I don't know how many daily draws. I might film a B-roll clip of it every once in a while if I don't have any other B-roll clip to add in. But I want to try to start doing this every morning, at least Monday, or maybe just a couple mornings, like do Mondays and Wednesdays, or Mondays and Thursdays, or something like that, just to kind of get in the habit of drawing a card more often. And then that will also help me with my interpretations of this book, and just with my intuition and stuff, because I have not picked up the intuition workbook that I was working on for a little bit, because I've been busy doing other things. But I will stop rambling about my tarot stuff and talk about Heir of Fire. So I am now 34% in. I'm about to start chapter 24. And holy friggin' crap. I am just like, we're jumping around all over the place with POVs. I feel like in other books it's been mostly Selena, and then we've gotten like Dorian and Kale and a couple other people's POVs. But this one we've got Kale, we've got Dorian, we've got Selena, and then we have Manon. I want to say it French, which is Manon. But, and I know that from The Miraculous Ladybug, because I am obsessed with that show. But, she's a black something witch. I just finished a thing with her. Blackbeak witch. And so the witches are kind of in leagues with the King of Adarlan, and they are at where his breeding grounds. We now know he's breeding wyverns, which are kind of like dragons. And I mean, they're dragonoids, but they're not like a stereotypical dragon. They're like baby dragon. I don't know how much into dragon mythology this is gonna follow, but in normal dragon mythology, wyverns are like less intelligent, more animalistic forms of dragons. But they are like training and learning how to fly with these dragons, and they're each gonna get a mount. And I just finished the chapter where she really wants the big bull Titus, and he's just like mean and nasty, and she ends up getting pushed into the pit where he's like showing off what he can do. And she ends up, I mean, first of all, my heart was breaking for the bait beasts, which are the broken and the not prime wyverns. And they're basically used as bait to help train the better specimens. And she ends up coming into this, and she feels this connection with this bait beast, and they end up a team, and together they take down Titus. And oh my gosh, that scene was everything. I really hope Manon is a good person or sides with Selena in the future, because I am loving, and we have just barely seen this connection, but already I am loving the connection between her, and she names him Abraxas, and she's just like, he's got like a scarred eye, he's been beat up, he's been a big beast, all of his like tail spikes have been like filed or broken off or something crazy, and this poor wyvern has been through hell. And she's like, he has a warrior's heart. The other Titus was like a full-on just brute, but he has a warrior's heart. And she has this connection with him, and she can tell that he has a connection with her. And it's just like, oh my God, I love it. I absolutely love it. But I love dragons, so I mean, if you didn't already know that. There's weird stuff going on with Kale, but we also meet her cousin, Adelion. And so he knew, because he has one of the king's black rings, he could tell there was something wrong with it, so he had a replica made and he's wearing that. And so him and Kale have kind of opened up to each other, and Kale ended up telling him that Aelin is alive, and then he tells him the story of what happened, the first 2 books pretty much, and what he knows of Selena's past. And so that's fun. And Dorian is like having trying to form some sort of tryst with a healer lady named Sorsha, which I don't know how that's gonna go, but his magic, he is starting to kind of lose control. And so she's gonna help him try to figure out how he can help control his magic. I wish Kale would open up to him. And now that Kale and Edion kind of have a thing, I want Kale to facilitate a way for Edion and Dorian to kind of open up to each other, because I feel like Edion might have a way to help Dorian or know of someone who can help Dorian. So that's kind of bothering me a little bit, that there's still that rift between Dorian and Kale, because they were so close in the first book, and I really dislike them being torn apart from each other. And then our main girl, Selena, she is still training in that mist town, and she's being trained by Rowan. I need to know more about Rowan. He is very intriguing. He is very much the bad boy fae, and I am here for it. And he is definitely intriguing me, and I'm a lot more on board with her pairing up with him than anyone else that we've met so far. But I don't know if he's endgame, but I'm trying not to pair her up with people anymore, because that's all been kind of thrown out the window in the first 2 books. So I'm just like, oh, is this him? Is this him? Is this person it? Is this person it? But he is trying to train her still, and now there's some sort of creature that forced her to relive basically her finding her parents when they were killed. And this poor girl is still struggling with her grief from Nehemia, and let's be honest, she's still struggling with her grief from Sam. And now she's almost being forced to relive these memories of her parents, and I think also her brother's death, that she has completely just buried and repressed. So she is now going to be forced to deal with all of this grace and all of what has happened with her. And he's pushing her to shift into her Fae form and use her magic. And I feel like now that that seal has kind of been broken and it's not just them sniping at each other and he's actually answering some of the questions that she's asking, I feel like her training can really start. And I'm excited to see where it goes and what happens and how this works out. And I am very, very excited. Very excited to continue. But man, Manon and Abraxos, I really hope they're not a bad guy, because I feel like they're not, because we have her POV. And I really love the connect. I mean, give me a girl that has a magical connection with a dragon, and I am on board for sure. But anyway, I just wanted to update, because while I've only read like 15, 20-ish% more, a lot is happening and a lot is going down. And it's, when all of this starts kind of culminating together, it's going to be magnificent. And I cannot wait. And I just wanted to double check, because I feel like I told you earlier that this was a really long book. Maybe I mentioned it, maybe I didn't, but let me check my Goodreads to see what it says. Okay, so it's set on hardcover. And it says, I was off by 100 pages. 568 pages. I am glad I started this earlier. Holy freaking crap. This book is going to take a while. So here's hoping I can get it done by Wednesday night. But anyway. All right. I'm going to get ready to go to bed. And I will see you all later. Bye. Happy Monday. It is Monday, May 2nd. It's just about 6 o'clock. And today was all gray and cloudy and rainy. It is pretty much my perfect day. I do wish there was a light rain going all day. It's mostly just cloudy and cool right now. But when I woke up this morning, it was raining. And when I went to bed last night, it was still raining. So that was nice, because I love the rain. It's my happy weather. But I made some tea in my pretty zebra mug. I haven't really shown you the tea that I've been drinking. I was really good about that, but I made the acai pomegranate and blueberry green tea. This is from Private Selection, which is the store brand for King Soopers, which is Kroger. It's King Soopers here in Colorado, but we have quite a few things to chat about. So, it's so good. It's so good. So, first of all, I learned something new recently, and I just wanted to show you, because I found Gourmet Circus Peanuts, and Circus Peanuts are one of my favorite candies. So everyone knows normal orange Circus Peanuts. So Circus Peanuts apparently are banana flavored. Never knew that, but they're banana flavored technically. But there are 3 other flavors. That's right, 3 other flavors. Pink is cherry. Yellow is lemon, which is my new, second favorite flavor now. And my new favorite flavor, vanilla. Vanilla Circus Peanuts. I've always loved Circus Peanuts. Whenever we'd stop at a restaurant, like a convenience store, when we were on a small road trip or something, and we would get to pick a candy or something in the cheap section where it was 99 cents, and they had Boston baked beans and a lot of the older style candies, and the hard mints and the butterscotch candies and things like that. I always got Circus Peanuts. I don't go to the dollar store very often, but when I do go to the dollar store, I always get a bag of Circus Peanuts, because they are just one of my favorite foods. I love the texture. I love the taste. They're my jam. So I paid a little bit more than you would probably expect for these, but But if you like Circus Peanuts, these are the jam. Not only are they gourmet, so they are like really fresh, really soft. You don't have to stand there and squeeze all the bags. It came in a sealed container. The vanilla ones, but I'm a huge vanilla person anyway. So good. The cherry ones are good too. And the lemon ones, but I am a lemon fanatic as well. But finding out that the orange ones are technically banana flavored, I mean, it makes sense because one of my other favorite candies is banana flavored Laffy Taffy, and I like the banana candy flavor, so makes sense. But anyway, I just had to like share my mind blow with you because they are absolutely delicious, and that will be a treat. Every once in a while, I will get gourmet Circus Peanuts now because wow. Those were good. And I had like one of each flavor just to see, and then I had another vanilla one because I was like, I think this is my favorite. So that was good. So I guess we will talk about what else came in the mail today. This is Hello Lovely. And this is their last surprise box. They're actually discontinuing the surprise box, and it is turning into like the t-shirt club or something like that. But because I'm not the biggest t-shirt person, I canceled my subscription. And I put that in there, and I was like, well, I like a t-shirt every now and again. I'll get a new t-shirt, or if there's a design I really like that they come up with that's only available in a t-shirt, I'll probably get it. But I like the mix between t-shirts and bags and everything. So this is my last surprise box, which is sad, but I understand if the t-shirts are easier or whatever. I understand the reasons behind the change. So speaking of, it looks like it's a bag. It feels a little canvasy, but and I don't remember the theme again. So The Dragon of New Orleans, The Treasure of Paragon, Book 1, by Genevieve Jack. It says dragons, urban fantasy, steamy slow burn, paranormal romance, suspense, New Orleans charm and magic and danger. I mean, yeah. Ooh, and another one, Dragon Mine, a Dragon King's novel by Donna Grant. Dragons, soulmates, different realms, paranormal romance, suspense, epic world building fantasy. So those are the two books for the April surprise box. I love dragon shifters. I love dragons. I mean, you heard me wax poetic about dragons last night. So, there is we got a dagger with a coupon code, which is what I'm covering up, that says love something because I just am going to tell you. So it's a dagger with a snake around it. I'm not a snake person, but that will be a pin I will probably give my sister or somebody else. I'll give it as a gift because I am not a snake person. And if it's specific to a fandom, I don't know what it is. And here's the sticker. It's definitely fantasy romance. Very pretty. Yeah, hi. What do you think? Oh goodness, you have cat food all over your nose. Were you just eating dinner? You smell like kitty food. You're stepping on stuff. Okay. So the chapstick is the same logo. The snake. Oop. Let me see if I can try to get it. So it's a snake. It's the same logo. Snake around that. It's called Serpent's Kiss. It doesn't say what the scent is, though. It just says it's Serpent's Kiss. And then We have a tote bag, and it's the same logo as the sticker, which is giving me like fantasy vibes with the horns and the feather and the crystal and the moth and the moon and then the mountain in the jar. This is giving me fantasy vibes. And let's see, this says, so this is made from recycled cotton. That's cool. Very cool. I love totes. I love bags. I love tote bags. And I love this particular size because these are perfect for project bags. I have all of my like tote bags this size in a larger bag. And then when I start a project, I will put them in tote bags and then I will mark them on either my Ravelry or if for like Christmas I have a checklist, and then I'll mark like in the blah 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 tote, in the Snoopy tote kind of a thing. So I love little bags like this, and I probably have too many, but that's okay. So that was the last surprise box. Really good though. Really good though. I definitely will continue buying their products, but now it'll just kind of be an on-demand thing unless they do a different kind of subscription service. I know they've done trope boxes is a new box that they've started up, but I'm fairly picky on the books that I buy. So I like to know what book it is before I buy a box. And I know a lot of people don't mind if you reach out to be like, I really want to buy your box, but what books are in it? I have limited space and whatnot, and they'll tell you. But I just feel weird reaching out. I don't know why. I do. But anyway, let us move on. So let's do the quest calendar. So yesterday we fought the monster book. You had fun with it. Okay. Ooh, looks like we're going to do more scroll research or something like that. So let's see what it says. Now that you have gathered all the resources you could locate in the Lost Library, you take them all to a reading nook. You set out all the books and scrolls and begin reading over the materials to research what you can about reassembling the gate. Cool. Okay, so read through the summaries you find in the scrolls and text. All right, there's a lot going on here. Okay, take a drink. Okay, so the history of the gods. There was one world before the gods began to bicker and fight. They separated existence into different worlds they could each have domain over. The worlds are connected by the gates of Terralon. As much as the gods hated each other, they made a truce to leave the gates alone, lest their worlds collide and destroy each other. Still, they set guardians up to defend the gates. I'm getting looked at. Boop. On the structure of the Gates of Terralon. The Gates of Terralon act as waypoints for travel between worlds, as well as anchors to focus an energy that holds the universe together. This energy is commonly known as transference energy. Okay, that makes me nervous. This is the power that holds the universe together. Great. Musings on the anchors. If a gate were ever to be destroyed, the transference energy would become unstable and chaotic. It would begin to unravel the world, sending matter through to all of the other worlds it is connected to. Okay. Scroll of Terralonic Transference. You find a magic scroll that can activate the gates and allow one to travel through to the other worlds. Okay. Transference sensor and locator. A device that can track transference energy so that you can locate the other gates and gate shards. With it, you see that there are no other gate shards in this world. You also see that the gate in this world is located within the library. The name of the game is The Gates of Terralon. Where have I been? I'm guessing these are the different universes. It's all coming together. I love it. I love it. Oh, so fun. So fun. Okay, with what you've learned after your research, you must take the scroll and locator, against the rules of the library. With them, you will need to find the gate on this world, travel to the other worlds to locate all the shards of the demon gate, and finally take them back to the demon world to reassemble the gate. To save the world, pretty much, or the universe. So, great. Fun. Lots of lore this time. And it seems like we're kind of getting the main goal that will be for what the calendar is doing. So exciting. I love it. Okay. So, let me try not to ramble on too much like I did last night, but Heir of Fire. I am now 48% in. I'm about to start chapter 33. And holy crap. I love Manon and Abraxas. Every time I see that we're in Manon's POV, I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I love the relationship between her and Abraxas when she takes him out to teach him how to fly for the first time. Or yep, and she tries to feed him a piece of lamb, and he like gives her a dirty look, and then he's sniffing wildflowers, and I just love Abraxas. He is such a fun character, especially for a wyvern, and I'm here for it. I really, really hope that they're not bad. I love them so much. The connection between them is just so fun. I love that type of connection between, you know, either intelligent or non-intelligent animals and a person, a lot of like witches and familiars. Those mystical connections that make you feel like you're meant to be with this person, this animal kind of thing. I mean, I definitely have that with my kitty. She is my kitty soulmate, 1000%. Huh. Yeah. Meow. But, so we have kind of made some progress back and forth with Selena. But I'm not a big highlighter or quote person, but I had to make a highlight because not only because it just really touched me, but it kind of points out the fact that I've been really feeling that we are moving through grief with Selena at this point, and Nehemia's death really has started to bring back the grief that she never really dealt with Sam, and what we're kind of finding out is the grief that she never really dealt with about losing not only her parents and all of her family members, but her country and her position in life. And she never really, it feels like, properly grieved that. She just kind of repressed all her feelings. But so this is a scene where Rowan kind of forces her to shift, and then they're running because this creature that is killing things in this countryside area. And so they're running. Not only are they running so they can get there faster, but she's also kind of settling into her Fae body. And let me just read you this quote because it touched me. Even her soul felt looser, as if it had been locked up and buried and was only now starting to shake free. Not joy, perhaps not ever, but a glimmer of what she had been before grief had decimated her so thoroughly. Man, that is so deep. And when I read that, I thought, yes, that is the perfect word for grief. It decimates you. And if Sarah J Maas gets better than this, I am going to be a wreck. And I was thinking of it a lot today at work. And I do wish, I feel like I might say something in the Discord, because I do wish I would have brought up when people were talking about Selena during the live show, that yes, she is young. And I kept thinking to myself, but she's screaming. She's screaming. We need to give a little leeway for her, because she is screaming. Never mind the fact that she is like 17, 18 years old. And just reading things like that makes me just feel like, yes, she is grieving. Please don't forget that. And I feel like I kind of realized getting through some of this and how she's starting to kind of remember and deal with her parents' passings. And she's kind of being forced to remember them if she's going to step up as queen. That was part of the reason I maybe subconsciously had issues with Kale. It's because of how he was reacting to her going through her grief when Nehemia passed. And while he stepped back, there were moments where he kind of bothered me. And I feel like, because unknowingly, I felt like it was him trying to tell her how to grieve or force her how to grieve a certain way. And while that may not have been his intention, that's how it came across to her. And subconsciously, that kind of was how it came across to me. Never mind all the other stuff that went along with it. But I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking her and Rowan. I want Rowan to crack open just a little bit more. He still kind of has moments where he will answer her questions, but then he won't. And I'm just like, you've already started answering her questions. You've seen that being a little more open with her is helping her trust you more and more willing to work with you on her training. And it's obvious she knows absolutely nothing training-wise. So I want him to crack open a little bit more. And I'm wondering if he is endgame. I am wondering. I kind of hope so. He's mysterious and intriguing. And I am excited to learn more about Rowan. But, okay. I have some editing to do for last week's vlog and get that exporting. So, I'm going to stop rambling at you here. And I will definitely be reading more tonight. And I will come back and update you once I have read more of Heir of Fire. But until then, I will see you soon. Happy Tuesday. It is just before 11 o'clock and the Avalanche game just finished. And we have won game 1 of the playoffs. They won 7-2 against Nashville. Oh. And I was kind of nervous with how they were playing. And I knew that they were resting guys and they were trying to make sure everybody was healthy and ready for the playoffs. But they didn't play very well the last kind of 10-ish games coming into the playoffs. And oh my gosh, I almost started crying when they scored the 5th goal in the first period. I just was like, here we go. Here we go. Cup or bust. And I cannot wait. And I know things will change game to game. There's 16 games they have to win the cup, 4 in each series, but game 1 is down. And you know, and they always say that first step is the hardest, which isn't necessarily true with the playoffs, but we're gonna go with that analogy for now. But anyway, I don't want to ramble too much because it's late and I want to get ready for bed, and I want to get back to my post-game shows so I can get those done at a decent hour tonight. But I will say, I pulled out my pom-pom. These are the playoff pom-poms. You usually get these for free when you go to the games, but during the pandemic, they had a special playoff like gift box that you could get when they had the bubble up in Canada for the playoffs, and it had like a t-shirt and a puck, and it had 2 playoff pom-poms and the flag that I have up on my wall, and there's a couple other fun things in there. I think like can cozies and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I I love hockey, and playoff hockey is just... Although Nashville was getting a little overly chippy, and I'm like, guys, it's game 1 and you're down 7-2. It's not like this is a 1-goal game and you want to play a little bit dirty to try to get them. Like, it felt like they were trying to injure our guys and they were just pushing it a little bit too far. But, you know, whatever. As long as my boys don't get dragged into their nonsense, we should be okay. But anyway. So, for Heir of Fire. I did not read anything last night. I kept trying to read during commercials during the game, but I felt like commercials were going by so quickly. So I did not get very far. I'm now only at 49%, so I only read a couple of percent, and I'm about to start chapter 34. So, yeah, I'm not that far, but my goal is still to try to finish it tomorrow night. Usually I have like Married at First Sight and things like that going on, but tomorrow's a weird episode where they're like interviewing previous contestants, I guess, to get their takes on what's happened on the season yet. And so it's not even decision day yet. And none of the podcast people that I follow for Married at First Sight are going to do a recap about it. So I don't feel the urge to watch it tomorrow night. But tomorrow is also the final episode of Moon Knight. And then the Marvel podcast I follow, the Avengers, they're doing a live show, like podcast recording kind of a thing on Twitch. And I always try to participate in those because it's super fun to just kind of hang out and chat about everything. And since it'll be the last one, it'll be fun to chat and share some thoughts and perspectives, because I love it. If you like Marvel content, definitely check out the Avengers. I'll link their podcast stuff down below. I'm also a member of their Patreon, but they're just the coolest people, and they always make me happy. And sometimes they get very deep in their podcasts about what they're going through personally in their lives, and it's really touching, and you just get that sense, you know, that you're not alone in whatever you're dealing with. I know. I'm never alone, though. I've always got a screaming kitty. But anyway, so not very much has happened, although I did feel, although I'm a little bit nervous on what's going to happen, because they were telling stories or whatever, the cook at this place, and some guy showed up. Well, it was like a cat, like a mountain cat, so I'm guessing like a cougar or a puma kind of a thing, and he is a fae. Which, I mean, I like Rowan, but I'm a cat person, so Selena can have Rowan if that's where we're going. And I will take, what was his name? Gavriel. Yeah, I'll take Gavriel. I mean, a pretty warrior fae that can turn into a big kitty? Yes, please. But anyway, so he is obviously companions or friends with Rowan, and she kind of sees him getting tattoos or whatever markings that they have, so that's really intriguing to see what exactly they are. And then Rowan, of course, had to break my freaking heart because she kind of freaks out because she's like, you just left me downstairs, didn't say anything. And then she's like, you left me and I have nobody else. And she like takes it, like it triggers her, I guess would be the best way to say it. And then he just basically is like, I don't care about you. You're like, I'm tired of your self-pity and all this crap. And I don't know why I've got hair sticking up right here, but okay. And he's like just really rude. And it says this chapter ends, She walked away without another word. With each step she took back to her room, that flickering light inside of her guttered and went out. Rowan's kind of pissing me off on going back and forth. Like, decide how you're going to treat Selena, and if that changes, then it changes, but stop treating her like she's less than nothing, because you've obviously been intrigued by her and you've answered questions from her, and it definitely felt like he was intentionally trying to push her away, but that was too far. But so we'll see how much more I read tonight. I was hoping to get through like 60%, but I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. We'll do the quest calendar real quick, and then I will go back to my pregame, or my postgame shows, not pregame. Okay, so yesterday we found a bunch of information from the scrolls, and then we found like a locator kind of a thing, and learned more direct information about all of the gates and the wordstones and whatever. Whoa. I'm guessing that this is the librarian owl dude. So it looks like we're going to have 3 rounds of fighting him. Okay. You pack up the materials from the library and begin to leave. You don't make it far before you hear a loud screech and feel the wind from flapping wings. The librarian descends upon you and attacks you for breaking the rules of the lost library. I mean, technically we haven't left yet. There's intent to take the items out of the library, but technically we have not taken them out yet. Just saying. And if the word gate portal or whatever is here in the library, he wouldn't know that we're trying to leave through it yet. But anyway, whatever. We'll fight him. We don't really have a choice. Okay. So, our attack is a +6. So, that is a 13. So, 19. Okay, if your attack roll is 13 or more, you hit the librarian. Cool. So, our damage is a d6. I'm going to grab an extra one. 2d6 plus 1. And we got, whoop, 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 whoop. Double sixes, so 12, so 13 damage. Okay, if our damage roll is 7 or more, the librarian is stunned. Sweet. Okay, round 2. Fight. That is a 12. So 18. If your attack is a 13 or more, so we hit. Damage is 10 plus 1, so 11. Oh, whoops. We were supposed to be taking intellect rolls to not become confused. I somehow completely skipped that. So, my first one would be a 15. Our intellect is the -1, so 13. And we needed a 12, so then we'll do the intellect for the second round. And that is a 19 -1, so 18. And you needed a 12 for the second round. And then we did the 10 damage. And the damage is 8 or more, so the librarian is stunned for the second round as well. So final round. +6 for an attack. We rolled a 15, so 21. Okay, and we needed a 13, so that hits. Then we will do our intellect. And that is a 9. So that is 8. And we needed 12. Okay, so we are confused. So we're going to roll our damage twice and take the smaller result. So we've got a 6. And the second one is a 7. So we have to take the 6. So if you hit and damage roll a 6 or more, sweet. Or you know what? It would have been 7 and 8 because I forgot my +1. But we're good anyway. So we stunned him for the third and final round. After its last attack, the librarian flies away angrily to hunt you from the air. So we stun the librarian for 3 rounds. So we collect 3 gold. And that is it for the quest calendar. So I'm going to put my post-game shows back on, and I'm going to brush my teeth and do all that good stuff and get into my PJs and get in bed. I have my window cracked because it's raining again, and I love it. Oh, I love this weather. We're supposed to be back in the 80s this weekend, but I wish it would just stay in this like 50 to 60 degree range with gray cloudy days and nice cool weather and rain all of the time. But yeah, I was like super excited from the game, especially after the first period because I was so hyped up. But now that like things come down in the second and third period, and now I'm just kind of starting to crash because it's late. And it's 11:11. Make a wish. Okay. I will see you all later. Happy Hump Day and happy Star Wars Day. It is May 4th. I wore my Darth Vader Stormtrooper earrings, and I've got so we got the Death Star X-Wing and TIE Fighter necklace on. And then I wore Yoda socks. I don't really have any Star Wars t-shirts or anything like that, but that's okay. I at least accessorized, and then I went with my black and white because it matched my earrings and, you know, dark versus light kind of a thing. But anyway, I read 2 or 3 chapters last night after the game and during post game, so I don't really have anything much to update on, but it is Wednesday and today was my goal to have Heir of Fire, the novella, and Burn for Me finished. So tomorrow starts the Mafia romance readathon, so I am going to try to finish at least Heir of Fire and the novella tonight, and then tomorrow I will be all ready to start Mafia. But I'm just gonna have to wing it and make things go. I was kind of talking about it to my boss today, and I know she doesn't listen like 100%, or she listens, but doesn't quite. I just ramble on it, which, are you not surprised? But I was thinking I can read a couple of books for the historical romance readathon, and then if I need to, pick up Burn for Me, and then I can just read enough to get at least a bingo for a historical romance, and then I can read Burn for Me, and then I can finish the readathon, and then I just have to focus on the second book in Hidden Legacy. So I don't know, but that's what's going on. So I don't really have anything else, so let's do the calendar, and then I'm going to half watch the Married at First Sight episode tonight. It's the one where they like bring back other people, and they're gonna like previous people, and they're just gonna talk about if they think people are gonna say yes on decision day next week, which let's be honest, this is a completely unnecessary filler episode. I mean, and they already had one, which I guess my boss was telling me these people had an episode in the beginning, and it's Kevin Frazier, and then it was like 3 or 4 people who were like journalists or bloggers or Married at First Sight reviewer people, and it was like a few episodes ago, and they had like because I guess they did like a fantasy thing in the beginning of the season, which I didn't see because I started, and then I ended up watching the first or second episodes on demand, but so I didn't see that. So it was like an update halfway through the season-ish kind of a thing. So I mean, I just this tonight's episode is just completely pointless, but I'm gonna watch it just to see if anything extra clips or whatever, so I can talk to my boss about it tomorrow anyway. So anyway, quest calendar. So yesterday we fought the librarian, and we managed to get away. So today, okay, Lost Library Gate. So we are going to try to find the gate in the Lost Library. Okay, these ones are always super long. So we start at the S. So we are here. And then we have to get to the star. So I think, because we are in this hallway, we will come down. So I'm going to say, well, when we come down, if we can get good focus. So before we go down the stairs into this area, I'm going to say, let's go into 3. And then we can come back out and go down the stairs and do 2, 4, and then 5. And then once we get through 5, that's the doorway to get to the star. So we're going to go in that order. I got a thing in my eye. Okay, so we start with number 1. Room number 1. You enter a long hallway where you can quickly gain some distance from the librarian if you are a fast runner. Roll a d20 plus dexterity, reminder athlete. We do have athlete, and I believe that is one of the ones that our warrior, also, our follower, also gives us 2. Yeah, so we have our dexterity is a +5, plus we get +2 from athlete, +2 from our follower. So we are at a +9. So let me pull out this. Okay, 20. Let us go an 8, but we have a +9. So 17. Okay, if the result is 15 or more, you are too quick for the librarian. It can't catch you as you dash at full speed. Nice. Yay for being dex space. Okay, so then we'll go through 3, which looks like it's bookshelves or things like that. You enter a large room with stacks and shelves of books. The librarian enters behind you. You are unable to run or hide. You will need to fight. Roll a d20 plus attack, then roll damage. Okay. And we rolled a 17. And our attack is a +6. So if your attack roll is 12 or more is all that we needed. So I'll need my d6. And I'll pull another d6. We'll go with silver. Why not? Okay, so that is a 4 + 1. So that gives us 5 damage. Okay, if you hit and your damage roll is 5 or more, then the librarian is stunned. Just barely. We're too busy playing in the books. Okay, so we're getting out of that room. We'll go down those steps. So to room 2. You find a small closet at the end of a hall. You had hoped it led elsewhere. You try to hide while the librarian searches for you. So d20 plus dexterity, reminder stealthy. And we do have stealthy, so that is a +2. So we are at a +7 total. And that is a 12. So we are at 19. If the result is 11 or more, you manage to stay very quiet and sneak out only when you can't hear the librarian's movements. Cool. So we'll continue down. 4 looks like it's a set of stairways going down to whatever 5 is. Okay, you consider that perhaps the gate is on another level of this huge library. You begin to descend the stairs. Doing so in a hurry has proven to be difficult. Roll a d20 plus dexterity, reminder danger sense. And that is also another thing that we have, danger sense. So, and it is dex, so we are at another +7. And that is a that is a 2. So 9. If the result is 10 or less, you lose your footing and take a small tumble. Reduce your health by 1. Okay, not bad, not bad. Could have been worse. And we don't have any damage right now because we rested in one of the little nooks a couple days ago, so that is not bad. Okay, there's that. So now we are down in room 5. So we'll just kind of touch base again. We started here, we ran here, we checked all these books out, and then we came down the stairs, checked this room at the hallway, and then we just tumbled down the stairs. So now we are here. Okay. Room number 5. You find a place with several doors leading to many possible locations. One of them has to lead you to where the gate is. You spend some time trying each of them in hopes of getting the right door quickly. Just as you come to a locked door, the librarian appears at the end of the hall. This door has to be the one. Get past the lock and get inside. So pick the lock, d20 plus dexterity, reminder locksmith, or smash the door, d20 plus strength. We do not have locksmith, but our dex is better than strength. So we're going to try to pick the lock first. So that's a +5. And we rolled, I can't tell because of the glare, a 16. So 21. If the result is 11 or more, the lock clicks and the door swings open. Nice. Okay. Cool. So we run past there. So we are now in this, like, I can't tell if this is rubble or I feel like it's like smashed pillars and columns and stuff. So I'm guessing we will deal with whatever is going on in here. And we came through this door here. So whatever this light is, maybe that's the gate. But we shall have to find out till tomorrow. Or to find out tomorrow. Alright, so that is it. I'm going to turn my show on and I'm going to dig out my Kindle. I don't know where I put it. Might still be in my purse from work, but I'm going to hopefully finish Heir of Fire, but I will be back to update you. I'm sure crazy things are bound to happen. See you all soon. Hello. It is about 11:20. I looked at where I don't have a watch on. Thursday night, May 5th, and the Avalanche have won game 2. It went into overtime. It went about 10 minutes into overtime. I guess 9 minutes, but oh my gosh, it is so late, and I still have post games, but I needed to film a clip. So the Avs have won game 2 of the series. So the next 2 games will be in Nashville. Man, I love playoff hockey. I love playoff hockey. They won 2-1, so in case you were wondering. Anyway, so last night I finished Heir of Fire. I'm giving this 5 freaking stars. Selena. She officially adopts Aelin back as her name at the very end of the book, so I'm going to call her Selena for here. But oh my gosh. I know I have half a book to kind of talk about, and so I'm going to kind of gloss over things because I don't want to talk too long because we've already got a lot of video clips here. But when she is at the big battle and we find out that what the creatures that the king is creating are Vlog inhabiting human bodies in this realm, and these are 3 of the princes, and so they're eating off of her misery, basically sucking her life out of her, and she completely like opens up to them and to herself and sees memories that she has repressed, and through kind of accepting these things that have happened to her and really finally being forced to process these, she finds her strength and she's able to start climbing out of the hole that is grief. And I was crying happy tears of just how when she came back and she tapped into her well of power and she let go of her fears, and oh God, it was just so awe-inspiring. And oh man, I cannot wait to see where this goes. Oh, even just thinking about it, Selena is just, man, Sarah J Maas is a wonderful writer. And we aren't even to her good stuff yet. there were a couple other quotes about grief and loss and loneliness and stuff that I only really highlighted that one, but there were quite a few where I was just like, oh my gosh, you're hitting me in the feels right now. And Dorian stepping up. Although I'm nervous for Dorian. And Manon, I am intrigued to see what happens there. I feel like she's gonna kind of go against the matrons of the witch covens, or at least her own grandmother as the heir, and I don't know. I mean, and when she went and got the spider silk for Abraxos's wings, that was so cool. And I love her and Abraxos. And then I was sad that Keely died. But then she saves the Blue Bloods heir, and all the matrons are pissed off at her about that, except for the Blue Bloods leader, because that was her daughter. So she was like, thank you for saving my daughter, even though they don't have a soul and they don't have a heart, they don't have feelings and all of that. So I'm just like, I feel like there's going to be some fun changes happening with Manon, and I'm just happy to see more of Abraxos in her anyway. I am so intrigued by her. We lost Nehemia, but I think Manon is my favorite secondary character. Maybe Dorian. I love Dorian though, but I think female-wise, Manon. And I was still kind of frustrated with Kale, but at the end of this book, I'm like, okay, I can see that you're growing. You're finally choosing sides. You're finally kind of making a choice and taking a stance. And he calls Dorian his king. And I was like, okay, so we'll see. I'm on the fence. I'm not like fully in you annoy me territory anymore. I'm still on the fence. Like, I can quickly just be annoyed by him, but I can see glimmers of hope of character growth with him. So I'm intrigued to see what happens there. I love her cousin. Her cousin needs to survive, and Selena and her cousin need to meet. And Rowan better be endgame. I'm just saying. The way that their relationship evolved, and then when she was like, I claim you, Rowan. I claim you as a friend. And the way that she manipulates Maeve, I'm telling you, this book, I am so excited to read the next one. And thank goodness there's readathons. Otherwise, I would be completely jumping into the next one because I really want to read the next one. But the next book, so I do still have to read the novella, but that's I can fit that in wherever I need to before the live show. So I'm not too worried about the novella. But the next book in the readathon, or read-along, that's later this month, is A Court of Thorns and Roses. So we're switching series, because I didn't realize, but they came out kind of simultaneously-ish. So I don't know how I feel about that, to be going back and forth between the two, because I don't know how different magic systems and things like that are going to be, but we'll see. But 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. And I cannot wait to read more. Okay. Let us quickly do the quest calendar, and then I'll touch a little bit on the readathon that started today. So, yesterday we went through the Lost Library, and we ended up to the gate. So let us see what happens today. Okay, yep. So there is the gate. Super cool. And yep, these are kind of columns, but it is a little bit in disrepair. Okay. This room has clearly seen better days. You are on the lookout for one of the guardians the history scrolls mentioned. A booming voice bellows out a riddle that echoes in the room. Between two spaces I connect. Through me, one passes with effect. Two are joined in unity, a symbol for opportunity. Opened or closed is my fate. As a barrier, I separate. What am I? I mean, a gate, right? A gate or a doorway. A symbol for opportunity. Opened or symbol for opportunity, because like when one door closes, opened or closed is my fate. Yeah, I feel like a gate or a doorway or something like that. But since these are called gates, we're going to go with gates. So let me see. Okay, so number 1 is guess the answer to the riddle before checking the solution. And then there's 2. Number 2 has 3 options. So 2A is sprint to reach the gate quickly. That's dexterity, reminder, athlete. 2B is quietly sneak to the gate undetected. That's dexterity, reminder, stealthy. Or C is confidently prepare for battle. Strength, reminder, intimidating. Okay, so let us see. Okay, number 1, guess the answer to the riddle. Any form of the word door, portal, or gate is a valid answer. If you answered this correctly, gain a +2 to all combat rolls tomorrow. Cool, so we'll get the +2. So, I am going to say we're not going to confidently prepare for battle. We are going to either quietly sneak or sprint to the gate quickly. I feel like quietly sneaking would be better. We're both athlete and stealthy. This is my pen bag, not my dice bag. But we get an extra +2 to our athlete for our follower, the warrior dude. So that would be a +9 versus a +5. Or a +7, because it's an extra +2. So I think that's a big enough difference. Although I want to sneak. I don't want to attract the guardian. Okay. Let's try sneaking. Let's see. Okay, so we have a +7. And that is a 15, so 22. Oh. Okay, so sneaking. Oh, we needed a 15. Cool. You move quietly to the gate and stay in the shadows. Gain a +2 to your defense tomorrow. Cool. So we get a +2 to all combat rolls, and we get a +2 to our defense. Sweet. That is pretty awesome. Okay, so that is it for the quest calendar. And it sounds like tomorrow we will end the week with some combat. Okay, so other things. So today, Thursday, also started the Mafia Romance Readathon. I'll go ahead and put a card up above and that links to that vlog because that'll be up the weekend before this posts. I'm pretty sure. What is this? No, never mind. Never mind. It'll come up this following Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, because I'm doing because it's over the weekend, so it has to be next weekend. Anyway, okay, I'll stop rambling. So the vlog will be posted later this week. I just had a thought. So all of my information will be on there, the bingo board, all of that. I will briefly touch on what I'm reading and then how it applies to the other reading challenges that I have going on. But before we start talking about the first book I picked up, I did forget to mention that I applied Heir of Fire to things. For the Love Has Sprung, I applied it to cover model that was wearing a dress. And then for Taylor Swift Quarterly Challenge, I applied it to the prompt for the song 22, which is either new adult or, let me see what it says. 22. So it has two of the same number together in the page count or the publication date, which it didn't have because it was 568 in 2014. So I used it for new adult. And then it also worked because it was published in 2014. It worked for my Yahtzee roll for the month of May, which was the full house. And that means that we need an either the number 2 or the number 3 in the page count or the publication date. And it was published in 2014. So that covered it there. I don't know the actual date it was published. I just know 2014. But that's all that I really needed to know. Yeah, so there was that. Let me mark these real quick. So +2 to combat and defense. And then I'll erase that tomorrow. Okay. I just did not want to forget that I had those when we got to it tomorrow. So, the first book that I ended up picking up for the Mafia Romance Readathon is Savage Hearts by J.T. Geisinger. This is book 3 in her Queens and Monsters series, and I am on chapter 17, about 112 pages in. So yeah, if you want to hear more of my thoughts about what's going on so far, definitely check out the vlog that's coming out this weekend. But otherwise, this is what I started reading, and I'll let you know at the end when I finish it what my rating is and some generic thoughts. But I'm going to try to keep everything with the other vlogs. So that is all I have for Thursday. I'm going to get ready for bed and finish watching all my post-game interviews and all that. Oh man, what a freaking game. And what difference of games. We won the first game 7-2, and this one was 2-1 in overtime. But you know, the Avs won all types of games during this season, and that was good because knowing coming into the playoff more often than not, games are going to be like tonight's game and not Monday night's game. So it's nice to know that they can win both ways. But alrighty, I'll stop rambling at you, and I'm going to go get ready for bed. And I'll see you all later. Happy Friday. Happy not so happy Friday. Let me tell you, today was a day. I'm getting a sty in this eye, which is wonderful. And I was super stressed out, and there is so much freaking construction happening in town. And I was kind of forced to do an errand this morning that I just didn't really want to do. And then I spent a couple hours trying not to cry at work this morning and mostly succeeded, but there were definitely a couple times that I was having issues. And I think I was kind of talking to my boss and doing some reflecting today, and I think part of it is subconsciously because Mother's Day is this weekend, and I've been kind of thinking about my mom a lot lately anyway. There's been a lot of things just making me think of her, and while like I knew it was Mother's Day, it wasn't connecting that Mother's Day was coming up. So I think subconsciously my brain was thinking about Mom a lot, and that's hard. It's hard. So since I've last updated you, I haven't really read much in what is this called? Savage Hearts. But I'm reading this for the Mafia Romance vlog. Usually I try to end the vlog with a book ending, but since I'm keeping all of my books, you can see all my fingerprints on it. That's weird. That's the only bad thing about these matte covers, is that because I have an oily complexion, if I get that oil on my fingers, it leaves it everywhere. And like you can see where I was holding the book against my forehead up here. But anyway, so yeah, I'm still reading Savage Hearts. I haven't read much more than last night when I last kind of updated you. But like I mentioned, because I'm doing the Mafia Romance readathon vlog, book stuff separately, I'm not going to worry about finishing it in time for this week's vlog. So let's just do the quest calendar and wrap up this week. So yesterday we got to the gate, and then, oh yeah, that's right, we got bonuses. We got a +2 to all combat rolls and a +2 to our defense for today. So we are gonna fight something, probably the Guardian. Ooh, he is cool looking. I love all the designs on his chest plates and, I don't know, loincloth. Stone cloth? Because it's not a cloth, so loinstone? I don't know. Anyway, as you walk closer to the gate, a pile of stones nearby begins to move. Dust and rubble shakes free as a stone golem stands up and takes a defensive stance against you. So there are going to be 4 rounds based on our little table here, attack and damage. Okay, so let me get out my dice and we will roll. And I have my iPad here, so I'm going to try to keep it flat and roll on my iPad. I need another D6. And since I'm thinking about my mom, we'll do yellow. Yellow was her favorite color. Okay, so we will just get straight into it. So our attack is a +6, but we get a +2 for today. So +8. And that is not flat. Okay, let me lean over here and roll on my end table. Okay, so that is a 13, so 21. Okay, so we needed a 15 to hit. Sweet. So we will roll damage. And that is a 10. Okay, if your damage roll is 9 or more, the golem is stunned this round. Sweet. Round 1 is over. On to round 2. So we rolled a 18, so that is a 26. So I'm assuming that hits. Let me double check. Yep, we needed a 15 or more. So damage is a 10 again that time, but the numbers switched. Like the 6 was on the yellow die and the 4 was on my little one, and now it was opposite. So that's crazy. Okay, so the damage roll is 8 or more. The golem is stunned. So second round is over. He is stunned twice. Round 3 is a 10, so 18. And we needed a 15 again, so we shall roll damage again. Oop. And that is a 10. If you hit and roll, your damage roll is 10. Okay, cool. But he is stunned for the third round. Sweet. Okay, so round number 4. That time, in case you were wondering, is 2 5s. And that is a 17. So we needed a 15, so we're good. 17 plus 8 is too hard for my brain right now for some reason. And final damage. Oop, I can't see where you went. Oop. Okay, we have a 9. And what do we need? If you hit and your damage roll is 9 or more, the golem is defeated. Sweet. So we stunned him for 3 rounds and defeated him on the final round. So because we stunned him for 3 rounds, we get 6 gold plus an additional 2 gold for defeating the golem. Nice. So 8 more gold and we've defeated the golem. So I'm assuming next week we are going to enter the gate somehow. And that'll be super fun. And our bonuses are now over with because they were just for today's. So, I think that's it. Not too much reading wise for you this week, just a lot of talk about Heir of Fire, but I really enjoyed Heir of Fire, and I'm really enjoying Savage Hearts so far, so definitely check out the Dark Romance Readathon, or not Dark Romance, Mafia Romance Readathon vlog when that comes out this coming Saturday. And hopefully I will get through more books next week. I'm thinking so, because next week has the end of the Mafia Romance Readathon and will also be completely the Historical Romance Readathon. So we shall see what happens. Plus, I feel like it's easier if I want to pick up an audiobook to find Historical Romance on audio than Mafia. At least for the ways that I get audiobooks, because it's mostly my library. But yeah, I will end it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Comment if you have any other fun thoughts about Heir of Fire and if you were on me with the crazy train. And if you're having fun, feel free to reach out. But otherwise, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you all soon. Bye.